Hello everyone, welcome to Simracersworld TV. My name is Hasse Rømer. I'm here with Jack Oliphant, and we are at, I guess that you've guessed it, we're at the Temple of Oval Racing, if you will. Perhaps a title they should share with Indianapolis, but still I think there is nowhere that comes close to this place. We're at Daytona for the season finale of the SRW's Dynamixx NASCAR Winter Series. Round 6 it is. And we're coming up to Christmas, and I think we're gonna be sprinkled upon with gifts here tonight. Jack, what's your expectations of tonight's racing?
Oh, it's gonna be cracking. To be honest, we've got championships to settle. We're gonna have close racing. One of the fastest circuits in the calendar as well. I think it is the fastest circuit in this calendar. Obviously not on the overall NASCAR calendar, but yeah, it's going to be certainly brilliant to watch. I'm glad you didn't unmute me earlier, Hasse, because I was having a right little rave to myself with that theme music going on in the background. A little treat for the finale for the fans. Hopefully everyone sort of understood the reference, because as you know, Hasse, I wouldn't have understood it if you didn't explain it to me about 5 minutes before we went live. But it's going to be a great race, hopefully really close racing. And as I said, there is a championship to decide. So, let's get cracking and sort of breaking that one down.
Yeah, very much so. And speaking of the championship, let's just delve straight into it, because it is indeed close. And I think we should just have a look, if we can. That's better. We've still got Sergio Hernandez leading for Lucky Dogs, but it's by a meager margin of 4 points ahead of Kenzie Newhoff, then Frederick van Eekhoven, Bart de Vos, Gregory Franks, Matty Sufi, John Tusting there in 7th, just a point ahead of Anton Dupin, Steve Claes, and Hendrik de Grabe, who rounds off the top 10. Then it's Paul Gosling, Pablo Cortel, Stuart Musselwhite, and the boss himself, Ian Roots. Kim Behaid, Bram van Hoefden leaving up the big, and Robert Lundgren in 18th place in the standings. And looking on down, well, it's more the rule than not saying that they're tight as a knot in there in the standings, and especially so for the overall championship battle, actually. And coming into this final race, that's going to provide us with plenty of entertainment. I'm sorry, we're just a minute away from the end of practice, which means we'll be going more or less directly into qualifying, and grid order will be decided very shortly indeed.
It will indeed, yeah. And thinking back, it wasn't last week, of course, it was 2 weeks ago that we were at the round 5 of Phoenix. Obviously, there's only 6 rounds in this championship. But the fact that Sergio Hernandez is so close to losing his potential championship lead on this final round is thanks to the fact that last time out of Phoenix, he couldn't buy any luck. He seems to be involved in every single incident. After a driver we've been so used to sort of avoiding all the incidents left, right, and centre, he seems to be immune to it all. He finished 11th, and to be honest, that was a fantastic result, considering I think he was all the way down to 30th at one point, about 5 laps from the end. So incredible recovery from him. But the likes of Van Eekhoven and Kenzie Newhoff, they ended up first and second. The team down undercars, I think it's going to play a real part, teamwork, in this season finale. Obviously, I don't think Sergio Hernandez, the lucky dog, doesn't really have much in the way of help at the front end of the field in terms of his teammates. But Van Eekhoven and Newhoff, they said in their interview that they're not going to stand in each other's way. They're going to race each other, but obviously they've got to get both of their cars to the end of the race to be in with a chance of beating Hernandez.
Yeah, indeed. That is very, very true. And with that said, we're rolling into these 10 minutes of qualifying. And it was a bit of a shocker to see Sergio Hernandez turn his luck, or have his luck turned around, you might say. But then again, it felt like it was sort of just waiting to happen at some point. It was maybe tough to avoid in the end, given that it's been chaotic for everyone else as well. But it's all the merrier, I'd say, to the top of the standings there. We're gonna have a real fight on our hands here at a track that, after all, is relatively different from some of the other tracks we've visited this season. It's faster, it's wider, it's bigger, it's flat out all the way around, basically 100% of the time. And something like bump drafting that we haven't really seen on any of the other tracks we've been racing at so far. That's going to be a major thing here tonight. And look for it. Look for the team down undercars as well. who might just be able to scrape a little bit of an advantage together from working together. We've seen it. We've seen it on the restarts. We've seen it in race situations as well. They've been very, very good at utilizing the fact that they are not just one, but several cars. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. I think it's going to be an absolute belter indeed.
Yeah, it's almost fitting as well, isn't it, really? Because we sort of come full circle. It's all the instigator for bringing this championship to fruition in the first place was actually thanks to the fact that we hosted the Daytona 500 special event here on SRW a couple of months ago now. And that actually drummed up the interest in to bring a rookie season into it, which, of course, is the climax tonight. And it's quite nice to have the climax of that season at such a special track where we basically started it. So it's brilliant, Hasse, to have it sort of come full circle. And with any luck, we'll have it come back on the calendar for the next season. Or is there going to be one? Or have I might have just dobbed it in it a little bit there.
Well, next season, well, we don't know anything about that yet. We might know something, we might not. We never know. We never know anything until we know, and then when we know. Like everyone else. So, and by the way, a warm welcome to everyone joining in with us here on another cold, dark Monday winter night. And let's have it lightened up, shall we say, by a bit of NASCAR action. Here's our early pole sitter. Provisionally, indeed, it's Thijs van den Bergen in the number 5 car for Dynamixx Race Simulators. By 0.003 of a second. They're ahead of Anton Dupin, then Kim Behaid, Steven de Wolf, Kurt van Hoornacker, and Henrik de Graave. And they're all within a 1/10 of a second. And then Jochen Lennert's very, very close to that time as well.
Yeah, it's extremely close, aren't we? We're used to seeing times that are, within a thousandth instead of tenths even. But that is the top 7 separated by less than a tenth. And to be fair, Hendrik de Graave is not far away either. And there you go. Now the top 8 are actually separated, thanks to Gregory Vansk putting himself third. But to be honest, I think we need 1 or 2 more flying laps before we get a proper representation. I'd expect those lap times to come down just a little bit more as Sven Kalpert comes in and makes it to top 9 within a 1/10 of a second. I'll tell you what, Ben Hoornacker and Perry as well, 10th and 11th, drawn on time down to 3 decimal places. And Gosling and Van den Berg drawing on time as well, down to 3 decimal places in second and third. Vransk only 1/1000th of a second behind them. So I'll tell you what, Kalpert and Dupin, I can't keep up. Hasse, this is going to be incredible. And we just had a message, Bram van Oitman, on the YouTube chat as well, saying that apparently the aerodynamics have changed over week 13. So if no one's familiar with week 13, we'll break it down. We'll probably save it until we have a pace car period, because there's bound to be 1 or 2 of them. But yeah, we're going to break that down, but that will certainly make it interesting.
Yeah, well, and speaking of caution periods with the pace car ahead of the field, it'll be interesting to see just how many we get here. I reckon the track is so wide and space is so plentiful that, and this is just my take on it, but I think we're going to see more green flag racing and less caution periods than at some of the...
I mean, you're going to have to touch an awful lot of wood here.
It pulled me dead stop in the middle of saying in the middle of sentence. I think it's going to be really interesting. I think it's going to be a treat to watch. Thomas, indeed, it's what I went for, so I'm glad I hit that with just a slight bit of success, indeed. There.
I was going to say, I think we've done enough of these NASCAR series to now know that the commentators' curse is a big thing. As soon as we say, "Oh, we might have 3 laps of clean racing here," we've had half a lap. All of a sudden, the pace car gets pulled out. So Hasse, we need to keep it quiet for once.
Yeah, we're gonna do our best to keep it in. I was just about to say to keep it in our pants. That's maybe a little bit much to say. But
what's going on with this broadcast?
We're gonna do our best to keep it under control, so to say. As a matter of fact, we're gonna go as far as to pray for the safety of the drivers. We're gonna keep traditions alive, and here is your Hasse Rømer.
I missed this last week.
Your Hasse Rømer pre-race prayer. God, Lord above, have mercy on the drivers that are to embark on an hour and a half of such perilous actions. Give them the bravery and bestow them with the luck to make it through with 0x. And yet again, as always, let their computers and their hardware make it till the end of tonight at least, if not for eternity. For ours is NASCARs in iRacing and Daytona, and since NASCAR 2003 season in heaven. Amen.
That was beautiful.
Thank you, Jacko.
I missed this last week. I missed it last week. I was going to bed on Monday thinking that I haven't heard Hasse's prayer. I don't think I can settle.
I'll tell you what, I've missed it this as well. And I'm going on a Christmas break after. I'm gonna have the Bell Car Winter Series on Friday with Chess, and then I'm going on a winter break, and I'll see you all in January. But I've just come to think of it. It's gonna be super weird not doing any commentary for so long, and I'm gonna be celebrating Christmas very much just low key. My girlfriend and I. And we're just gonna take it relaxed, I think, for as much as we can because of this entire Rona situation. But yeah, it's gonna be strange having like 3 weeks without broadcasts. I'm sure my girlfriend and probably my neighbors as well will be looking forward to having some peace and quiet from that pesky, shouty neighbor who seems to get wildly excited over something that they can't quite comprehend what I think is the middle of the evening on weekday nights, even without alcohol involved. It's very strange indeed. Here's Bram van Eyften in the 284 car, the radioactive machine. We could call it the nuclear machine. And is he gonna hydrogen bomb the rest of the field? Is that a big dive bomb? Or is it when you cause a big crash? Jacko, what's your take there?
Well, I mean, I hope it's the former and not the latter. The last thing we want is a massive crash, obviously. But just take a note as well to say, I was going to type it in the chat, actually, while you were doing the prayer, but I decided to just keep it. The top 20 are within a tenth of a second. Now, that is something we haven't seen, even in any of the NASCAR series, race that we've done this series. A tenth of a second. That must be unheard. That must be a record on the SRW channel, because I don't think I've seen a qualifying that close ever, to be honest, in real life or in the virtual world.
No, I'm talking about when I get wildly excited. Say, Thomas, for example, when we have a close finish here in this series, and I almost lose my voice. I tend to forget that there's someone right on the other side of the wall that I'm sitting up against that probably will have to listen in on it as well.
They should tune into SRW on a Monday night, then they'd understand how exciting it is.
Very much so. I think that's going to be my answer to anyone bringing any kind of squabbling about it. Here's Kenzie Newhoff. We're expecting him to go well here in qualifying. Interestingly, that even though the cars should, maybe is a little trickier to drive than before, and that is saying a lot because especially the qualifying setups have been a challenge for the drivers to contend with. Interesting, you see Kenzie Newhoff, he stays high on the track to be able to carry that little bit of extra speed onto the straights, and then when he goes to the flying lap, he cuts in low and
cuts into the pits.
Goes into the pits indeed, so that might have been and he hasn't even put in a time. There is 10, 9, 8 seconds left now. He's not going to make it, Steve. As that Steve Clay is going third fastest. Nice time there for the Xemia Esports car. The yummy number 3. M&M's Peanuts up there as well. And with that said, I think it's time to go over to our lovely man that is indeed Jack Oliphant with the readout of the grid running order.
Absolutely, yeah. Jochen Lennart is on pole position, not too far behind at all as Tim Perry. Steve Clays is in third place with Pablo Cortel in fourth, picking up a bit of good form at the end of the season. Paul Gosling's in fifth with Vandenberg in sixth place. Gregory Vansk is in seventh, with eighth being Ryan Walker. Sven Kalber is in ninth. Anton Tupan rounds out the top 10. Sergio Hernandez not having the best of qualifying, although he is only half a tenth off pole position. In 11th place, Bart de Vos in 12th. 13th sees Frederick Van Eckhoven in the Team Down Under car, obviously race winner last time out. Kimber Haight in 14th, Stephen DeWolf in 15th, Sufi in 16th, Wright in 17th, Van Oyten in 18th, 19th Van Honecker, 20th is Brian Harris. 21, Tusting. 22nd is De Grave. And 23rd is the bossy en route. Robert Lundgren is in 24th. 25th is Bauman's Newuff is actually in 26th after not setting a lap time. Leaving up there in 27th and Fredericks in 28th. Last but not least is Luke Hobson.
Yes, indeed. Brilliant stuff there, mate. And that means that we are just about to get the cars rolling. They have a little bit of a different start here. They don't start out on the track itself, but they are indeed quite close. And I'm just going to bring the interval up there. They're so close that it's measured in meters, not even seconds, of course, because it doesn't make sense. I take it that we'll be doing an entire lap as they come out there, but I must admit that since last time out at Daytona, I haven't had any oval races or broadcasts. That's a great camera angle though for picking up a lot of thundering V8 noise. 80 laps this is here from Daytona. Of course, 4 kilometers, one of the longer ovals. That also attributes to the speeds that we'll be searing indeed, and we'll be seeing them live on show here on the SRW TV. This is, of course, the season finale of the Dynamixx SRW NASCAR Winter Series, and if you haven't seen any of the previous round, well, you've missed out on a lot of good stuff. This is going to be the final, and to all who's really been living under a rock for the past 6 weeks or so, we have 3 drivers contending the overall title, with the leader of them all, Sergio Hernandez, starting all the way down in 11th place. And with that said, Jacko, will you be the honored man and take us through the start as the pace car peels off in a moment?
Yeah, absolutely. The drivers to look out for: Sergio Hernandez, Vanek Hoven, and Kenzie Newuff, all over the place in terms of qualifying order. That might give another person a chance to come away with a race victory here in the season finale. I'm sure they'd love that. Maybe it comes down to who's been putting in the practice, but it's down to Lennartz to be able to put the hammer down when he wants. He's not quite done it yet. He's making them wait. He's making them wait a long time as well. As he comes across the line and hits the hammer down now, as Perry gets a good start away as well, to be fair. Cortell and Clays. In fact, Perry's actually got his nose ahead on the outside. The green car at the front there, just on the outside. We're going to see a lot of this at Daytona. Plenty of side-by-side action. There's capabilities of going 3 wide here. 4 wide and we'll see a big crash, but 3 wide is a great possibility. Lennartz back on the inside though. He's not keeping up that, letting go of that position too easily. The 28 car Pablo Cortell though, he's had good form, as I said, in the qualifying grid order. He may well see a victory come his way today if he can keep it all nice and calm. At the moment though, Perry leads the way.
Perry indeed with a very good start now. It's the number 3 car of Steve Klaes on the outside of Jochen Lennartz, who seems to be getting swamped there on the inside. The Professor Cortell, as you say, Jacko, he's made a brilliant start. He's got the inside line, he's got the toe there, but there's a side draft as well, and they're already bunching up. Look at this. This is unlike anything we've seen in this entire season. 3 wide into turn 1 they go, and this might become a very interesting race indeed. But as I said in the intro, they seem to have a little bit more space. They're actually able to make it all the way right through there. The Lucky Dogs car of Sergio Hernandez is clawing back positions quicker than I think any of the opposing drivers would have imagined it too, and they're all fighting for it all right now. And too easy, too close to call anything not easy at all, but certainly a challenge to keep this clean. There's the number 6 car of Bart de Vos on the outside. I think that's Kip Haight in the 86, and they're battling it out still now into 2 wide, and they're slowly just slotting in. And I think it's going to take a few more laps before we see anything closely resembling single file. And better yet, Jacko, a very clean start we've had as well.
Yeah, well, in the Daytona 500, we sort of noted how often they were 2x2. So Daytona is diving to the inside there, maybe trying to get a bit of momentum off the corner, taking a narrower exit, almost a late apex, you could say, if you were used to a bit more track racing lingo. But he is certainly the mover and shaker of the field at the moment. He knows that his championship is up for grabs here. He doesn't want to let it slip as he did last week at Phoenix. He wants to keep this position his own. And at the moment, you can see them starting to go single file. Hernandez up to 7th place. And I think a 65 car there. I think that's Lennartz, actually. Our pole man is the first person on the outside of the circuit. The rest of them are starting to file to the inside. As I say that, they're starting to mix each other up.
Yeah, indeed, and they're still running too wide here as Sven Calvert finds himself on the outside of things. That's Hernandez making the move on the inside, exiting turn 1. He's looking to gain more positions. And Frederik van Eekhoven very much up there as well. So 2 of the championship duelants is very much keeping one another company. Kenzie Newhoff is going to come back from a long way down indeed, as we're already on lap 4. Out of the 80 we've got to do. What a start it's been. Here comes the field all bunched up. Oh, and what a sight it is. Listen to the roar of the engines. I've never seen anything like it. And I have to say, you can feel that these drivers, this being a rookie series and everything, that's at least what it's been called out as.
Oh, there's a spinner in the background.
Oh, my word. And the question is, I'm just
Ryan Walker.
Ryan Walker again. Oh, the unlucky soul that is in the 555 car. As I'm trying to find oh, there it is. Ryan Walker. And this. Oh, this is a. Well, I don't think he's made contact with anything, Jacko, but it was a big spin indeed.
And, he might just get away with that if he comes into the pits with some new tyres. I'll tell you what. Pablo Cortel qualifying in 4th position. He saw Hernandez's name all the way down in 11th. He probably thought, okay, I've got a chance here. I'm the usual front runner out of the entire top 10. And all of a sudden, he looks in his mirrors, 6 laps in. He's got Sergio Hernandez just on his back bumper. Incredible drive at the field so far. 9 places gained.
9 places gained in the space of 6 laps. And Sergio Hernandez certainly shows the world and all the competition here that if ever there was a deserving champion, he'd certainly be up there as well. But the same would go for both Frederik van Eekhoven and for Kenzie Newhoff as well. So not to say that we're favoring anyone, but Sergio Hernandez has put himself in a prime position at the moment. Mind you, Van Eekhoven still down in 7th place, hasn't really been able to move up yet. But with all this green flag running we're seeming to be getting here, strategy might be wildly different, and whoever sort of takes a chance on trying to wait with taking the pit stop might be wildly rewarded by it in the end. Although that's all speculation, we can't really say anything about that with any kind of certainty yet. So I think I'll just hold off from trying to make prophecies that will eventually turn out to be wrong here. Greg Franks in the 99 Simracersworld esports cars on the outside as well. And Jacko, they seem to have settled pretty much here from row 4. And I guess they almost made contact there as well. I think you saw it as well there. But they very much settled in just a double file kind of running order here. This is one of the things that are unique to, well, not only Daytona, but it's one of the few ovals and tracks where you see this kind of racing.
Yeah, it is. And as I said before in this sort of semi-intro, we were obviously running a Daytona 500. And that was our first foray into NASCAR racing for pretty much everyone. The organisers, the drivers, and the commentators involved as well. So it was nice to see that it was so close. It's a great introduction, and we're seeing more of it here. It's a great advert as to why we wanted to put the series on. It's a great advert as to why these drivers wanted to get involved as well, because this two-wide racing just doesn't happen. The number 8 is at Bart of Oslo, Brian Harris.
And we have got our first caution period here, 6 minutes into the race. And that was a huge incident indeed here. Brian Harris, you can see him spinning. And here we get it again as he just gets a little... Oh, he gets a tap there from the 86. By no fault of his own, the unlucky soul as well, Brian Harris. When will it ever change for him? He gets picked up from behind. I think that's by Behade, and a lot of cars getting collected up. And I think we will see by now everybody peeling off into the pits. I wouldn't be surprised by it, at least, because there's been enough running by now here. Lap 9 it is. That for sure everyone's going to dive in for both a fill-up of the tank, of course, but more crucially so for a fresh set of tires.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see everybody peel off into the pits sooner rather than later. In fact, the pace cars picked them up now. So, yeah, I mean, we did well, to be fair. Nine laps of Daytona. I was expecting a lot less. Normally, we end up with a pace car period well before sometimes even the first lap is finished. So the fact that we got this far in, I was going to say it's probably a testament to the fact that these guys had a week of practice. And I know, obviously, week 13 is a bit of a sort of a mystery, and everybody sort of goes a bit crazy, and there's a load of updates and everything. You have to relearn the cars, essentially, as they all come into the pits. Pablo Cortel leaving it late to show his cards, and in fact, not everybody comes into the pits, actually. It's only the front 3. Steve Clays now retakes the lead as a few other cars are peeling in at the background. Obviously, probably all the ones that are damaged as well. But certainly, we're going early on. And Pablo Cortel, Sergio Hernandez, certainly two drivers that are keen to make sure they're on the fresher set of tyres when they come out.
Yeah, indeed. Oh, that was something as rare as a sudden loss of connection speed on my part. I do apologize for that. I'll have to give my internet provider a call to hear what the hell that was all about. That's all it takes for us Scandinavians to begin complaining about our... No, that's not true at all. But it has become a joke, however, around and about, that it sometimes indeed is extremely fast internet that we do have here in the Scandinavian countries. Let's see here, even Bauman's gotten past on 2 of the pit lane exiters, and he will be allowed to do so. So indeed, as you can see, they will exit the pit by the blue cone, and then they're allowed to cross back up the line. Anything else is going to hand them a penalty. Now, so that's shaken up the standings quite a bit, and I must say I expected more cars to be pitting in at this early point of the race. At the first caution seems... my internet didn't go pace car mode. We need to be careful about what we're saying here, because all of a sudden it might just go worse. So if it causes any hiccups out there, I do apologize. I
was just looking at the field. I expected a lot of them to come in as well, but it hasn't really come into the favour of the people who jumped into the pits, because obviously now, as Bram van Uytven seems to be driving into the pits a lap late, it has to be said, he's going to have to get the damage repaired and fueled up, new tyres and everything really rather quickly, so he doesn't lose out on a lap hit. But yeah, I was expecting a lot more people, and as I said, the likes of Sergio Hernandez and Pablo Cortel probably aren't that pleased that everyone else didn't come into the pits, because now they're on fresh tyres, they have to carve through the field, and we know how dangerous that can be. Pace cars breed pace cars. It's a saying I've been saying, well, for ages now, but the last 6 rounds. So the likelihood of us getting another caution period within the next 5 or 6 laps, I'd say, is pretty high, which is of Sergio Hernandez and Pablo Cortel. They're right in the thick of things now. They're right in the middle of the field. The last thing they want to do is to be the cause of it.
Yeah, very much so. And interesting to see whether Kenzie Newhoff took anything and that he's lost the position. I think he might just have been caught up in that yellow flag incident.
He definitely was, yeah. He jumped into the pits for sure. I was keeping an eye on him.
Yeah, so Kenzie Newhoff, yes, indeed. He was very much a part of that incident as well. It's certainly going to hurt his championship chances. By the way, of course, not over at all yet, but it is going to be interesting. Anyway, as soon as the pace car peels off, we're going to have Steve Claes controlling the field. And, well, the peel-off moment, and it's got nothing to do with the banana, but the pace car coming into the pits, it's going to happen in just a few seconds. And from there on, Steve Claes can go early, he can go late, he can do more or less what he decides. But usually the drivers seem to have found out or figured out that it's the best to go early and catch everyone else napping if possible. Steve Claes, and he does exactly that. Look at that. Oh, I think it's one of the down under machines almost running into the rear end of the number 5 car up ahead there. A good start as well from Greg Franks, who seems to be running well here today. 2 wide as they come. Oh, and I think that's the 284 car in between that hasn't even caught the field yet into turn 1. Brilliant shots here we get. And the camera is shaking from all the cars that are passing through quite closely. Indeed, still no real moves having been made. And out turn 1 they come. Vandenberg, Van Eekhoven, all getting the run as they're trying to help one another. I think Frederick Van Eekhoven now in a very good position, by the way. He has jumped many positions up ahead. And the question is now, did he pit? Because I'm not actually quite sure that he did so, Jacko.
Yeah, no, these guys definitely haven't pit, and I'm just keeping an eye out. The top person who has pit is, of course, Sergio Hernandez, who is still in 11th place. So we're now going to see a real sort of test of how well the tyres hold on around the Daytona circuit. Whether the 11 cars or the top 10 that all haven't pitted manage to keep hold of their tyres and keep good pace compared to the likes of the drivers who have come in early. or whether or not their pace will fall off a cliff due to the fact that their tyres are going. But at the moment, the team down in the car, Frederik Van Ekhoven, obviously we're keeping an eye on the championship. He is going to be the championship leader right now. Obviously, there's an awful long way to go.
Yeah, indeed, much too early to call anything at this point here, as places are switching left, right, and center, and they're almost going 3 wide mid-corner. Corner exit's a dangerous place to do so, and I think they'd figure. Thijs van den Berge, and then the 2 Flemish SimSports cars there on the outside as well, trying to help one another along. I think that's Anton Dupin in the 14 and Hendrik de Graaf in the 87. And in behind there in 5th place as well is the boss. It's Ian Roots. He's fighting Steve Kleiss at the moment. Just got in front, but I'm not sure that he's gonna be able to really go anywhere. And that's the problem in these kind of trains. You can be racing all you want, but for a driver like Sergio Hernandez, it can be so difficult to actually find a way to get past on drivers when it's all too far like this. He's trying to get in between there. Look at him go. It's a brave move, and he sticks his nose back out again and might just open himself to attack from the Quantum car on the inside. I think that's indeed the 88 of Paul Gosling. Oh, contact! Oh, and that's Hernandez! And somehow he keeps it going. They all do, and we're not even under yellow. How on earth did they do that? I have no idea. Amazing stuff. Sergio,
I thought that was it.
I thought that was it as well. Sergio Hernandez must have a guardian angel watching over him today. The question is, however, has his car been damaged in that situation? And if it has, will that extra drag be something that'll be holding his Mustang back?
I don't know. He still gained 2 positions from that. So I honestly have no idea how he's just gotten away with that. I don't know if we're able to, as he goes to the outside now of Sven Galbert, I think. But if you guys are watching, obviously on the stream and anything, if you can rewind that, by all means, I would advise it. Join us back live. But it was certainly a spectacle to see. Brilliant driving and car control. Because I thought that was it. I thought the championship was gone. But it's very good car control to bring it back onto the circuit.
Yeah, indeed. And of course, there was no incident to show either, so it is. I'll be looking to bring it back at some point. Maybe if there's a caution period, it gives us a bit of a quiet moment here as they come with huge overspeed on the cars in front. I think they all got slowed down for something, and all of a sudden, both the Professor Cortel and Sergio Hernandez really finding themselves kind of getting held up. Here is a new fastest lap for Kim Behaid, who's very much in the middle of everything. There's Cortel swerving a bit in front of Bart de Vos as well. Oh my god, that could have been race ending, and that could have been championship deciding as a result. And the skill that it takes to keep it going and to keep it out of trouble in a situation like that, it's just mind-boggling. And another thing that's mind-boggling is just how much the field stays close to one another. A constant moving, constant jittering left and right from the cars, being more difficult to drive, of course, when they're completely in the slipstream of the cars ahead. There will be less air pushing down, there will be less air to provide the downforce, there will also be less air to break through. And that is, of course, the well-documented effect of slipstreaming that we haven't indeed known about in motor racing for quite a few years by now. Here's Hendrik de Graaf getting attacked. I think that's Ian Roots who deciding to take it 3 wide there with Steve Kleiss on the inside as well. And I think that's Van Ekhoven who's now taking the lead. Jacko Frederik Van Ekhoven looking to put himself in a championship winning position there as Ian Roots gets shut up on the outside as he's getting it served there from Sergio Hernandez, who's taken another position. Ian Roots tried to get brave, but he's paid the price and a loss of a few positions there.
Yeah, he was very brave, and unfortunately, he didn't come off with it because he ended up losing far too many. He just touched the wall on the outside, and that lost him a lot of overspeed as a 65 car. I think that is Lennart, who was obviously qualified on pole. Gets a little bit loose, but collected back over. But here goes Van Ekhoven, as you say, championship leader as it stands. Hernandez will be trying to pull through the field, and he seems to be doing it semi-successfully as well. He just needs to keep himself out of trouble because now he's faced with the wall of Flemish SimSports It's going to be difficult to break through them, certainly. But if you can break them up and target them one by one, then he's got every chance of trying to do that. And in fact, by the looks of it, Hendrik de Graeve is actually pulling into the lead. He's just got his nose ahead of Van Ekhoven. And looks like Hernandez is on the outside. He's already on the third step of the podium, if NASCAR did have podiums. With Steve Clays on the inside, though, potentially going to be taking that away from him. And is this the evidence that we saw in terms of the tyres fading away from those drivers around him? Because Hernandez and Cortel are certainly putting the hammer down. They seem to be picking these drivers off with ease.
Yeah, indeed. And what a race it's been so far. We're on lap 20 of 80 here. We've been racing for just 18 minutes. Oh, there's a contact. And this time it's Hernandez.
Unbelievable. Hernandez goes straight into the infield. I didn't quite catch who he made contact with. I think it was the 87 car.
We're not on the yellow. We are not on the yellow flags.
That's bigger news, if anything.
That's absolutely huge.
Hendrik de Graeve has gone back to the pits.
Hendrik de Graeve is at the pits, and here is Sergio Hernandez. He's rolling. He's getting overtaken. And I'm just gonna see if we can call back up the images that we wanted to see for this situation here. Oh, he's in the pit lane, or so it says. And that's obviously not what happened. We'll need to go a little further back, I think.
Yeah, it's just before the entry to the pit lane. That is absolutely massive consequences there. The two spinners, the Flemish Simsport car and the Lucky Dog car, who doesn't seem to be getting all that lucky. And they do make contact with the wall, especially the Flemish Simsport car, although it seems to have bounced off really rather easily. Steve Clays was involved there as well, although I think he was a bystander. Big contact for Hernandez and Hendrik de Graeve, who obviously, as I said, has gone back to the pits. But now Hernandez all the way down in 26th position, 31 seconds back. Frederik Van Ekhoven, his championship rival, is in first place, and realistically, he doesn't need to win this now. He just needs to finish within the top 5 to be safe of potentially taking this championship. And
that also makes it interesting. What can Kenzie Newhoff conjure up from 20th place? Oh, there's smoke. There's smoke. There's large amounts of smoke. There's a car that have spun. And that might be it. That might be the yellow flag that we didn't get before. Oh, Anton Tipanes. And yet again, for somehow, the yellow flags are staying in. And I know there hasn't really been any big contacts here, but usually, if the stewarding would be consistent with iRacing stewarding we've seen before, there would certainly have been a yellow flag there. That isn't the case. There's still very much racing here with Frederik Van Ekhoven now in the lead in front of Cortel. Ian Roots there on the outside ahead of Bart de Vos in the number 6 car. And I think that's Kurt van Hoenacker on the outside of Steven de Wolf in the number 7 machine. I'm sorry, that's Kurt van Hoenacker in the 7 machine. Indeed, it is for KB Racing.
Well, I mean, this championship has just been turned completely on its head. 24 laps of racing so far. We've had well over a quarter of the race gone. But it's just Pablo Cortel driving to the apron. Not sure what's happened to him, actually. Cortel dropping like a stone. I think he just ended up having to come off the throttle on one of the most crucial parts of the circuit. So Cortel really slipping down to the back of this train. He doesn't want to lose tack because obviously the slipstream, like you mentioned, Hasse, is a massive part of it. But yeah, that's the championship blown wide open.
Oh,
let's see.
Contact on the outside there with the wall. That's one of the Dynamixx cars. I'm sorry for interrupting there. I think that's the 73 of Sven Kalbert. It is indeed. He got off there lucky as well. As you can see, the attrition is starting to take its toll on the drivers. Now Ian Roots, having taken the lead, the boss himself in the 46 car. He's going to have tight company, though, from both Van Ekhoven, Bart de Vos, and company. And behind, there's still a tightly contested field. Still together for leading positions here on lap 25. We're only 22 minutes into the race. And we've only had a single caution period. It's been absolutely brilliant so far.
Yeah, I'd keep your cameras on Ian Roots because he may well forgive you for playing the Daytona music right at the beginning if you keep on him in the lead. I'm sure he's thoroughly enjoying it. He was loving the fact that I think he finished within the top 5 or 6 last time out. He's currently, well, he was leading this race. Bart de Vos, who seems to have come out of nowhere this race, to be taking the lead, actually. I think he was involved in an earlier incident, Bart de Vos. So, cracking effort But Frederick Van Ekhoven and Ian Roots, worth noting that neither of them have yet pit. So we've seen that obviously a few drivers pitted in the first caution period on lap 9. A lot of other drivers have decided to carry on. They don't seem to be losing out that much. Obviously, a couple of caution periods that were we expected to see, but didn't see. Normally, we see caution periods for anything and everything, don't we? We see them for a light gust of wind coming across the circuit in previous races. But I'm sure Sergio Hernandez will be cursing the fact that they seem to have changed the rules this time around.
It's certainly something a little bit different, but I like it. I do like it. It makes it all the more interesting. Look at the 7-car fishtailing there a bit. Oh, that got a little bit sketchy. That's Kurt Van Honacker getting loose, and he just about kept it under control, which I think all the drivers following in there will be very, very appreciative for. Look at that Sergio Hernandez. He is a lap plus the distance there he is down now. But of course, if everybody else pits in, he'll be able to regain the lap, at least on many of the cars that are now sitting in ahead. It seems to me, Jacko, that the time gained by sitting in the slipstream could easily outweigh the time lost by having worn tires here, and I think that's sort of what we're seeing the traces of here tonight.
Yeah, I think you're right, because as you said, I think towards the beginning of the broadcast is the fact that Daytona is pretty... I tell you what, that 7-car is getting extremely tight, isn't it? I think obviously the NASCAR, the Yanks like to use the terms tight and loose, and I think it's tight at that number 7 car of Kurt Van Honacker. It's always difficult to answer the apron, but yeah, you're absolutely right. It's going to be difficult to sort of guess the strategy, really, because it's a flat-out circuit. So as long as you can keep going flat out, it's when you start having to lift or brake into the corner is when you're going to see a lot of lap time lost. But at the moment, they can carry on.
Very much so here as we go on board with the nose cam of Brian Harris's. The cars of Volante Racing and ASK Racing, of course, brother cars, sister cars, if you will. And what a team. It's a beautiful paint job. It's a team that we've come to know and from my at least case, I've come to love them as well over the last few months of racing. They've been involved in quite a lot of action here on SRW TV. And to great effect as well. And Brian Harris has shown the potential on numerous occasions. He's been so unlucky. Bart de Vos has had better luck and the potential as well. And as a result, he's very much up there in the standings as well. Now he's getting overtaken, by the way, by Kurt Van Honacker. And on the inside is the Flemish car of... what is that? That's Kim Behake. It is. This is absolutely brilliant. Oh, no! A big crash. Huge incident.
Well, that has brought out the caution period, finally, and by the looks of it, you can see on the outside there, I think that was Brian Harris. I think you've cursed him there. I could be wrong.
He just gets on. Harris just gets through, actually. It's for
Stephen
once, it was Stephen DeWolf getting involved in the first place, and then in behind, the chaos ensues. Look at the number 3. Not so delicious anymore with the M&Ms. Maddie Sufi in the 64 getting involved as well. Very unlucky, and that means that we are under our second caution period of the race here on lap 31, Jacko. That I think is a new record for the series.
Yeah, we're breaking records all over the place tonight, aren't we? But it's also a great opportunity, 1, to keep the cameras on Ian Roots, I'm sure he'll like that, and 2, for all our generous supporters, maybe head over to the title sponsor of this series as well, Dynamixx. The link is in the description. They can serve you for all your sim racing desires and needs. Coming up to Christmas, you may struggle with delivery, but you may well see something you potentially like and maybe think, you know what? Or maybe I'll have a look next year. Maybe a January investment going your way. But by all means, go and check them out. Their link is in the description below.
Indeed it is. And thanks to them for making this possible in the first place, as well for us. And in turn, for all of you. What a Christmassy message, Jacket, from all of us to all of you. I expect a lot of cars to come rumbling in this lane that we're looking at right now. It's relatively empty. There's a single car in for repairs, but it will be a busy place in not too long, I imagine. And saying that, I think I'd be surprised to see anyone that choosing to come into the pit lane at this stage of the race. It seems like it's given for everyone to come in.
Yeah, well, I expected Hendrik de Graeve and Sergio Hernandez to potentially not. But they didn't actually pit in when they ended up spinning out. Well, I think de Graeve did. But Hernandez definitely didn't, so he's coming to the pits as well. And the rule of the lucky dog is the first person who's been lapped. So basically the leader of the people who have been lapped, which is at the moment Hendrik de Graeve, he can overtake everyone and get back onto the leading lap. So Hernandez he needs another caution period, realistically, to try and get back into this race. It's not going to happen this time round. Hendrik de Graeve is going to have the opportunity to go back up. And therefore, Frederik van Ekhoven, who has just come out of the pits, he needs to keep his head now, because it doesn't matter whether he gets the race win. At the moment, Kenzie Nieuwhof is nowhere to be seen, realistically, in terms of championship fights. I think he's just about cracked the top 20. And obviously, Sergio Hernandez had a big off. So keep an eye out on Frederik van Ekhoven. If we see a big off and he's involved, that could really throw a spanner in the works. And all of a sudden, Kenzie Nieuwhof, who's currently just come out of the pits in 10th place, could be on for a championship win all the way down in 10th place at the moment. So, yeah, those are the three drivers you need to keep an eye out on. We're trying. But it's so much action, Hasse. It's been pretty much impossible to keep an eye on the championship leaders.
Yeah, very much so. It really has. It's been it's been action left, right, and center, and there's been a lot more happening. You can say consecutively than we've seen so far at the other races, and what a pleasure it's been so far. Kenzie Nieuwhof, by the way, has not just cracked the top 20. He's in 10th place, as you said before, but his car, however, isn't really looking too good. He was involved in one of these early incidents, in the first incident I think we had, and that might be the thing who's really thrown a spanner into his work too. You see the car of Sergio Hernandez right in there behind, but he's of course a lap down, so he will be a long way down in here. Indeed. By the way, for Boosted Motorsports, it's Tim Perry leading now in the 83 car. The 86 of Kim Behate is second. And I think that's lights off on the pace car. There's a little bit of a confusing situation here with the back markers all getting involved. I think they will be allowed to speed on past the pace car as well, and they very much do. And the field will now be bunching up in behind. And when
yeah, it's great that that iRacing obviously include all these sort of rules in as well, so they make it very clear to the drivers when they can go. But I'll pass over to you, Hasse, for the restart of the, well, for the third time.
Third, well, is it going to be the charm? Well, I don't know. I think it's already been a charm. We've already had such a great race indeed. And really, if we can just go on down the same line for another 45 minutes until the line here, I'd be a happy man indeed here. We are getting close to the halfway mark of this race. We've been racing for half an hour. And that's actually relatively impressive. I think someone in there might have been expecting more accidents to have happened. And luckily, that hasn't been the case. Anyway, Tim Perry, as I said before, is the leader. He's been looking good, actually, for the entirety of the race. He's kept his nose clean so far. And just how he's going to do with this restart, well, we'll have to see. Going to go on board with the man here. I'm going to hide the standings. In that sense that we get a little more vision from the side camera. Oh, and he goes very early, Tim Perry. And that seems to be a good strategy indeed, because he's taken Kim Behate with legs and butt still in the bed, trying to get up, now rushing to get dressed, and I think he's just about caught the bus. And indeed, the bus, well, if it leaves, it's difficult to catch back up here, but look at the speed difference there from Kim Behate on the outside. There's just another bit of pace there, and I think Tim Perry goes to suffer for the fact that he didn't pit in there when everybody did. I'm not quite sure here now. Frederik van Ekhoven on the outside of Kim Behate. He's going to be looking for the lead as well. And on the 73, that's Sven Kalbert, who was actually involved in an incident not too long ago. And nice to see that people have made it out and is still in contention. And I'll tell you what I like as well, Jacko, when we see the cars come across and come through very closely to one of these camera positions, you get the camera shake as the cars pass. I think that is very cool indeed.
Yeah, it's another great feature on iRacing, to be honest. Well, it's the reason why it's my favourite sim to not only race on, but also I'm not very good at the racing on it, but it's also my favourite one to broadcast as well, because it just gives those little details as well, and the cars sound great. So it gives you a really immersive feel with Kim Bahate leading the way. And to be fair to Tim Perry, he did pit in. I think the slipstream just makes him a sitting duck, to be honest. And you need to keep with that. He'll get his opportunity to maybe fight for the race lead again. We're on board with Ian Roots now, who has fallen all the way down, unfortunately, to 9th place. But you can see everybody's pretty much banked back up. Sergio Hernandez right in the middle of all those drivers as well. He is now overtaken the Hendrick De Graeve, so De Graeve didn't actually get his lap back. But Hernandez is leading of the lapped cars, so it's be interesting if we get to the caution period, what happens to him.
Yeah, indeed. Oh, they come as well, and quite the roar it is here as we're watching Steve Kleiss on the number 3 machine. He's got the 76 on his low side. Kim Bahate still leading from Tim Perry. Sven Calbert, Kenzie Newhoff has really risen. He's up into 4th place now, I'm sorry. Impressively so, and actually he's ahead of Frederik van Eekhoven somehow. I don't know how, but somehow he is. And that could actually mean that at the moment we might have a switch of our virtual championship leader. Mind you, those 3 drivers atop the standings so close to one another. And I think we shouldn't be ruling anyone out as of yet. Even though things are looking very grim indeed for Sergio Hernandez, who is a lap down. He is the first car, however, to be a lap down, so he could be the lucky dog next time out. And we'll have to keep our eyes on that. Anyway, lap 37, Kenzie Newhoff for Team Down Under, currently side by side with Frederik van Eekhoven. There's 2 cars who don't want to make contact to one another, that's for sure. As they could really mess it up for one another there. Oh, watch out with Ryan Walker there on the inside of the 555. And I think Van Eekhoven was wise to it in time. It could have been very dangerous indeed, that shot.
Yeah, and the sort of the other Team Down Under car with the black writing on it as well is, I'm just trying to find who it is actually, is Adam Wright. So he's there. He maybe will hope to help his other teammates, but as you said, Hasse, the last thing they want is to actually make contact with each other. They just need to get through, and they maybe would be a lot more comfortable fighting at the front. We had an interview with both of them last time out as they both got on the podium at the end of the Phoenix broadcast, and they both said, you know, we want a Team Down Under car to win, but if it comes down to the 2 of us, we're going to fight openly. It's not a case of, you know, oh, well, this person's leading the championship, so we'll let him have it or anything like that. They're going to fight openly for it. And with Sergio Hernandez at the moment out of the picture, I think we can see a right scrap. I think team orders will be pretty much thrown out the window.
Oh, Ryan Walker ahead. And Calvert goes through, I think, on the inside as well. He's getting pushed ahead on the outside. I'm sorry, that's very wrong by me. It's Van Eekhoven who's pushing along Ryan Walker. Down the straight they go. Tim Perry is trying to help out Kim Bahate, and they're all... Oh! Tim Perry almost taking out half the field there, and he gets sideways, but he catches it in time. There's another car! Oh, there's a car on the wall!
There was a car in the wall indeed, Hasse. I'm just trying to see who it was. I can't actually see it there. You can see him on the inside there. There's 2 actually cars involved. This is Frederik, and the other one is a 65 car of Jochen Lennart, our pole sitter at the beginning of this after qualifying. Lennart is now all the way down in 27th place, and the other car there, I can't quite see where Fredericks has gone off to. I think he's in the pits and he's in 22nd at the moment, but this is the lead of the race back. And as you said, Tim Perry almost caused a huge incident, but the top 4 just broken away from the rest of the field at the moment, but that'll be swept right back up. I can assure you within the next couple of corners, in fact, it pretty much already is swept back up. So Kim Bahate leads the way. Frederik van Eekhoven in 2nd place. Tim Perry is in 3rd. Sven Calvert in 4th. And rounding out the top 5 is Ryan Walker at the moment. But trust me, that's going to change. Don't go anywhere because you want to be watching this as we come just over the halfway point now. 41 laps gone, 39 to go.
Yeah, indeed, Jacko, with half the boogity gone, there's still half the boogity to go, and we've got plenty of boogity here tonight on SRW TV with this season finale of the SRW Dynamixx NASCAR Winter Series, and what a banger it's been so far there. The 27 car of Adam Wright, I think it is, just jerking it to the outside ahead of Matty Sufi, almost colliding. And now himself, Steve Kleisen, one of the Flemish cars there, are more than close in behind. We'll be keeping our eyes on that. It's all those jerky kind of movements here and there that seems to be a cause concern for everyone in behind here, as Jochen Lennartz has entered the pits as well as Sven Kalbert's trying to get around there. There's the 48 car. I think it's a lap machine there on the outside now, almost collecting the ball. That is a dangerous place to be, and it almost... Oh, he slid in there, and nothing happened. And just how the drivers, somebody must have their midichlorian numbers shutting up way high here and using whatever force they can find within themselves to actually preempt what's happening in those situations, because it seems like at least there's a few crystal balls out in the field and they're able to predict some actions there, and that's pretty good stuff indeed. And what a race it's been so far. Lap 43, still too wide, and it's still for the lead battle. It's still anything but decided here. Anything can still happen, basically. As Sergio Hernandez, he's there in the 19 car, mind you. He is a lap down, so he'll try to unlap himself if he can. It'll be actually an important point for Hernandez. If he can get by, if he can get to the lead of this pack, he will technically be on the lead lap. And that means he'll be able to close it up if they go to a yellow flag. So he'll be fighting for that. He'll be trying to fight to get on through and to unlap himself, which is a little bit of an unorthodox position to be in. But it's his chance. He'll be going for it. And if he makes that return... Oh, and they've got it wrong, but that's Adam Wright and someone else. And I'm afraid that might be John Tusting as well. Let's see. Here is John Tusting. Oh, and that's Adam Wright. And that's the back marker from before. Oh, I think that's even Bauman's. It is.
Yeah, it is even Bauman's. Yeah, unfortunately for them, that hasn't caused a caution period. I think all the stewards today have just forgotten their yellow flags, because that would have caused a caution period for sure this time 2 weeks ago.
You know what, Jacko? It could be that they've actually got someone sitting there and calling the yellow flags. I'm not sure. We'll have to ask Ian after this round, because if so, that's a wildly successful approach, I have to say, to have a human actually sitting there to call whether a crash is big enough to call a caution out or not. It's been very good so far. We've got some very good action. I think that's someone peeling off into the pits. No, that's Ryan Walker almost losing it. Sassy entered the pit lane. I don't know if that's actually true. Let's see what happened to Ryan here. Does he just get... Oh, he just loses the rear end. Cuts it across there, takes a bit of a jump. He manages to keep it going, though. That's impressive. He hasn't had any huge ones yet today. Or yet today, is what I meant to say. And let's hope he doesn't pick up any, because... frankly, he'd be very unlucky if that's the case. Now we've got a new leader up ahead here for Dynamixx Race Simulators. It's Sven Kalbert in the 73. And as I said before, look who's right in behind there. It's Hernandez. And he's trying, for all he knows, he's trying just to get his nose past on Sven Kalbert, because he wants to be ahead of this field and to unlap himself. Oh, but he needs to be... he needs to be careful here. Oh, has he just taken out his championship contender? I almost think so. He's going to keep it. They're all going to keep it. That's incredible yet again. Yet again, Jacko, we've seen something that might have well been a huge incident turn out to I'm lost for words here. Incredible.
Yeah, I'm going to get a bigger chair, I think, because I'm going to need it. I keep inching forward. I'm on the edge of my seat already as the 7 car goes back onto the circuit. I thought he was going to cause a huge incident. This is Kurt Van Honecker, the 7 car that I was just mentioning. A little tap. A little tap for the 14 car. Who is that? That's Anton Dupin. And I think that was actually a back marker officially. So that is really not what the number 7 car wanted. But here is Sven Kalbert. And Ian Roots and Sergio Hernandez is involved as well. There's obviously the 2 Flemish Simracersworld cars getting in there, but only one of them is actually in the lead pack. So obviously Hernandez is a lap down as well, but Hendrik de Grave is also a lap down. He's involved in that front fight as well. Here's Frederik Van Ekhoven with Tim Perry hunkered up behind into his gearbox. A long way back from the top 4 or 5. But remember, like we said before, Van Ekhoven doesn't really need to worry about that just yet. He doesn't need to finish within the top 5, although he is at the moment 5th place. He just needs to finish higher than his respected rivals. And at the moment, Casey Newworth has dropped down to 11th. And Sergio Hernandez, as we've said many times, is a lap down, although he is trying to unlap himself. And I tell you what, if Hernandez unlaps himself, and then we get a caution period, and then he comes all the way back through the field. I don't think anybody could argue it for giving the championship to a driver like that.
It's incredible, and I think it's incredible for him to even keep his belief up at this point, because so unlucky to get caught up in an incident that didn't provoke a caution period. And of course, that's cost him major time here, and he's doing absolutely everything he can to try and just eke out that position. Come on, let me just sneak on past Sven Calbert. And just Sven Calbert even really wise to the thing that he won't lose a position from being overtaken here. You know, they could actually gain from Hernandez maybe just being the one to lead him on. Although they technically get overtaken, that's never what you want to have happening there. Ian Roots sneaking up on the inside of the 87 car.
Ian Roots must be absolutely loving this at the moment.
Very much so, and that is one of the back markers though. Hello Jeff, nice to have you along as well. And indeed, welcome to the last 30 laps of SRW Dynamixx NASCAR Winter Series action here. and I think we can even say we've saved the best till last, even though it's been good all the way through. It's like a visit to a very good restaurant indeed, where the courses just keeps on getting better. And once you're served with the fine wine at the finale, it's just a sensory overload. That's what I feel like as well, sensory overload for me as always. I've lost my voice almost here. Lap 50 has been this wild. And usually I don't get that excited. Oh, look at this too wide at the front here. And Hernandez has done it. And he's back on the lead lap. And I think that 86 machine's going to follow him through, because I think, if I'm very much not mistaken, oh no, I am mistaken, that's Kim Behane. Oh, and Ian Roots! Oh, he gets collected! He gets collected!
Caution period!
And that gives the caution period!
Caution period. Hernandez's dream has come true. Half a lap after retaking the race lead, not really retaking the race lead, but unlapping himself, he has the opportunity to catch up to the back of the field. He's unlapped himself. He's now in with a chance at the championship yet again. 29 laps to go. A big incident. Obviously, we'll try and cover the incident, but this is big news for the championship. Absolutely mega. As I said, I'm on the edge of my sheet before, but there's the pace car. He's passed it. He's going to catch up to the back of the field. A whole host of those drivers are going to jump into the pits. Will he? That's the question. He's going to try and get to the back as quickly as possible. Oh my days, Hasse. You said you're losing your voice. I'm losing my mind.
Absolutely. So we'll have to look. We'll see what happened with Ian Roots. He got, I think there was that Ian just losing his rear? Or did he get a touch before? I'm a little bit, and he gets majorly. You can understand why there's a yellow flag for that incident. That's a huge incident indeed. Now look, Ian is on the inside. Ian just loses it on his own and collects Sven Calbert. And I'll tell you what, Brian Harris in the number 8, almost so close to the incidents yet again today. Another time that he actually managed to stay out of it. It's very nice to see for his sake. Ian Roots, though, on course for a good one. And all of a sudden, it doesn't look like Brian Harris is up into second place. Jacko's second place for Brian Harris in the Valencia racing car of number 8. Pablo Cortel is up into third. Van Eekhoven fourth, by the way, so he's still in a very good position. Cortel, though, look at that car. It's really suffering. Isn't doing too well, is it? And Kenzie Newhoff, 9th place for him. And let's see just where is Sergio Hernandez. There he comes in through the mess and through all the cars. He's hurrying up. Look at him just going around the outside of absolutely everyone, throwing his car into the pits. And he might find himself coming out in 12th place or so. If that's the case, Hernandez that's the coup of the season, this.
Well, I mean, I don't particularly understand the rules of pitting in. He seems to have jumped half the field. I thought he was just going to catch up to the back of the unlapped cars, but he seems to have managed to jump half of them going into the pits. But yeah, it's a huge accident that we had coming in, and as you said, it's really spiced things up coming towards the end. I'm gutted to see. I can't believe we're within the last 30 laps of the entire season. Obviously, we hope that it may come back. But it's been an absolute corker, and we're really glad to have everybody coming along. But this is probably a good opportunity, Hasse, to maybe bring up the how we went into tonight in terms of championship standings, so we can just see how close it is towards the top of the field again. Because it's very interesting. We've talked about those drivers pretty constantly. But here it is, Sergio Hernandez, only 4 points ahead of Kenzie Neuhoff, who doesn't seem to have the pace tonight. But then Van Ekhoven, obviously 174 points. He's 5 points below Sergio Hernandez. So they are just so close to each other, aren't they? It is pretty much whoever can finish ahead of the other one. It's that close.
It is. There is really... It's too close to call still. With this amount of racing left... it's just too close to call. I think that is allowed. I think you can overtake under in the pit stop section, if you will, on the caution period. I think you're allowed to overtake. Otherwise, there's going to be a penalty for Sergio Hernandez. But I don't think he's an experienced oval driver, and he'll know what he can do and what he cannot do. I'm quite sure. By the way, it's 40 points for a win. I'm very much not mistaken. It is 35 for second, 33 for... No, 34, and then 33. Can that be it? I think that is actually it. Yeah, indeed. So,
that's actually a lot closer scoring than I seem to remember. I must be getting my my series mixed up a little bit there, but I thought it was about 5 points in between each finishing position. But actually, then Van Ekhoven's job isn't as easy as that. I mean, at the moment, he's still sitting in a good position. But if there are only singular points between each position, then that means he has to hope that Sergio Hernandez, who has jumped all the way up to 14th place in that caution period and pit stop period, he needs to hope that he can't get through the field too quickly with 27 laps to go. The pace car lights are off. We are going to be going racing. Kim Verhate is the driver who's going to have the floor, would you could say, in terms of when the pace car, basically when the cars are going to start racing. And Brian Harris, probably a more popular podium you wouldn't find. He's had an awful amount of luck, but here goes Kim Verhate as he's dropped the hammer already. And we're away as a driver pulls into the pits. I don't know who that was. Kenzie Neuhoff. Kenzie Neuhoff's come into the pits as we restart this race. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing.
Let's go racing indeed. And it's Kim Verhate leading Greg Franks and Brian Harris now on the outside there with the Frederick Van Ekhoven on the inside. And John Tusting in the 999 Quantum car. Matty Sufi's there, and so is Steve Gladys. And you just have to wonder if they can keep it clean for the last 26 laps, because they've been able to for so long. At other points in this race, the field has been ever so slightly minimized. Is that going to be enough for them to be able to make it through? But you could also say on the other hand, stakes are higher than they've ever been at this moment. Oh, and we've already had another crash. That's Ryan Walker. Into the wall he goes. Ryan Walker, I'm afraid, has had quite a shunt.
Pablo Cortel as well. He seems to be getting laps as well. He was just jumping out of the way onto the apron. Kim Verhate still leads this race from Brian Harris. This has maybe tries to find what happened just before, but it looks like at the moment there seems to be a bit of a break, and then there's another whole load of cars involved in which is Sergio Hernandez. So he seems to have dropped away, and that is Paul Gosling jumping into the pits. So we had Kenzie Neuhoff jump into the pits, and he's now down to 22nd. Really struggling around Daytona tonight. Not his race at all, but he can see the distinct groups merging into one yet again. So the slipstream really coming to the aid of the second pack. Kim Verhate and Brian Harris still going hammer and tongs out of John Tustin, Gregory Vance, Matthew Sufi, Steve Clayton, and Frederick Van Ekhoven are your top 7 at the moment, but that just keeps chopping and changing all of the time. Lap 56 out of 80, and it's going to be set up for not only a fantastic finale, because we've already had a fantastic finale, but a fantastic last couple of laps to this inaugural rookie SRW NASCAR Series.
Yeah, very much so. It's been more than we could ever ask for in this round of racing tonight. What an absolute treat we've had so far. There's still a championship to be decided upon, and it's still in a position where nobody can really call it all. There's a bit of squabbling about there on the outside line, and please don't do that. I think all the drivers in the lower position of the pack will be saying underneath their breaths, please keep it clean, don't jostle about too much, keep it too wide, keep the lines orderly, and it's obviously going to be much more safe. It's when everybody starts looking for the gaps here and there that stuff starts getting dangerous as well. as we've seen on plenty of occasions. And of course, if the tires get worn and all of a sudden you just don't have the bite that you would normally have, and you find the rear getting loose and starting to travel about on your... Oh, almost making contact at the 7 and the 14. That's Dupin and Van Hoenacker as well. And both of those cars are a lap down, so they have to be careful now racing in the middle of the bunch. As their squabbles could really turn out to change the luck of everyone, and we've got a huge, that's a big one!
That is a big one, and it involves Frederik Van Ekhoven, but I don't think in a massive way. Kenzie New have looked to be involved. Kimber Haight certainly is involved in the 99 car as well. Gregory Vance is the one. Kimber Haight comes back across Gregory Vance. There's an awful lot. Sergio Hernandez is in there. You can see it. Pretty much everyone is in there, to be fair. Is whoever got out the easiest, but I think everybody's going to have to come into the pits after that. Absolutely massive crash. And, well, I was about to do some maths to see where we were going to be standing into the last 20 laps, but I think we're going to have to throw the maps out the window because we have to settle down once again and see who can come out where after the pit stop.
Yeah, this is going to be a new situation that we're going to have to take in and see who's still alive, who's still got a car that's living and breathing. Sergio Hernandez is up into 5th place after that incident. And you can see how he was lucky too. He just managed to get hit, but not really get crashed out still. And mind you, he's not pitting in. So that might be because the pit lane isn't open yet. I'm not quite sure. We're going to have to see whether it just is because it opens on the next lap or so. But on board we are here with Hernandez, and
I'll be amazed if he doesn't.
Yeah, stuff is really kicking up now, and I think he has to. He absolutely has to, and I think that goes for pretty much everyone. But my word, cautions breed cautions. We didn't have too much of a green period there, but as I said earlier as well, I think it lends to it when you have this kind of extra spicy situation when so much is on the line for some of these drivers, and it just even further reduces the margin for error, and it's we've seen it before here. I think they're starting to bunch up behind Maddie Sufi here. Steve Kleiss, look at his car. It's the entire rear section of the machine has been ripped off basically at that crash before. And you said before Van Ekhoven was very much involved as well. Where is he? Is that he coming around all the way back there in 12th place? And as such, with Hernandez pitting in as well, Sufi, the Wolf, and Frank's the ones to stay out, I think. And of course, a few drivers taking their chance to unlap the field and to get back, and then I think they'll be hoping for another caution period, maybe one that doesn't involve them in the incident itself. Van Ekhoven comes in here, and now is the question of just how will they be coming out of the pit lane again? Well, that's one to wonder. It's one to watch as well. So we'll do our best to keep eyes peeled and focused on just what's going on here on pit exit.
Yeah, and while we are keeping an eye on that, obviously we need to wait until everybody comes out the pits until we can see a good idea of how everybody's covering. Obviously, we can remind you that obviously SRW doesn't just have NASCAR Series. And I know a whole host of people who are both driving and watching this know everything about SRW, but just in case you don't, you can obviously, if you hit the follow button or the subscribe button, you'll have access. Well, you have access to it regardless whether you hit the subscribe button. You'll have easier access to all this sort of fantastic racing we have going on. So obviously, there's the NASCAR Series that's coming to a close today, and I'll tell you all about the different ones that are coming up to around about the Christmas period. Tomorrow we have the SRW TCR Series. That's the Donington National. On Wednesday is the SRW F3 All Stars. They're kicking off at Imola on Wednesday. Friday, you can catch the Belcar Winter Series, as Hasse mentioned before. On another Wednesday, you can have Porsche Club GB. We've got the SRW TV Extra Special as well on Wednesday, the 30th of December. That's an opportunity where we put on a big show, basically, and we invite a load of drivers down. It's completely free to take part. And we broadcast it. It's around the Nordschleife. It's going to be fantastic. So if you want that and more to be announced in the new year, then make sure you're hitting the subscribe, the like button, wherever you're watching this from, to keep it with SRW, because we do offer brilliant racing. And if Daytona, the finale of this series, hasn't been good enough of an advert for you as to why you should hit the subscribe, I don't know what it is, to be honest. We're lost on you. But I hope you do come back.
Yeah, indeed. And I feel like actually we have had a very, very nice core audience over this series. We've had such a nice amount of chat activity. It's been absolutely burning on fire, which has been a joy for us to work with in the commentary booth, because it's just all the more fun when you get involved as well. We do have the safety car. So when will I ever learn that it's the pace car?
Pace car, Hasse.
Pace car, not safety car. The pace car lights are off, which means that in not too long, we're on the back straight at the moment, and not too long, it's going to peel off. We're going to have racing again. We're just under 20 laps to go. Just over half an hour. And, well, those 20 laps could be completed quickly as well. And it's just going to be down to whether we can have it clean or not.
Well, amazingly.
I'll tell you what, Jacko, sorry, but I'll tell you what. If you had asked 10 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago, is Sergio Hernandez going to be in a position to still win this series? I most probably would have said no. Just no.
That was the train of thought I was about to start as well, Hasse, because I'm just doing the maths. I'm trying to keep an eye out on the maths at the moment as we go through, as we get a little break here and there. I mean, I can't believe it. He's going to win it by a landslide-ish at the moment. But the pace car is coming in. So about to go racing yet again. Matteo Sufi is going to bring us forward into this period. Will this be the final green flag running we have? As Sergio Hernandez is already trying to work his way up towards the top three. And if he's working out in his head what he needs to do, it's basically all he needs to do is stay out of trouble. He doesn't need to outscore anyone at the moment. He's already outscoring everybody he needs to. Matteo Sufi disappearing in the distance for now. He'll be caught up, don't you worry about that. We got Sergio Hernandez now in second place. Kenzie Newham all the way down in 15th. Absolutely nowhere for the championship at the moment, but we said that about Hernandez, so who knows. But Kenzie is at the moment, I think, is he a lap down? Yeah, lap down actually in 15th place. So again, he'll be trying to hold Sergio Hernandez technique of unlapping himself and then hope for a caution period straight away. Frederick Van Ekhoven here in 12th place. He is on the lead lap, but he is nowhere near a championship championship winning position, which is unfortunate for him as he dives down into the pits. Team Down Under capitulating.
Frederick Van Ekhoven, is that it? Is he deciding, you know what, it could just be the car that hasn't been properly repaired. You know, that does happen sometimes if he's picked up unrepairable suspension damage or something that the like. Oh, well, that's so unlucky. Frederick Van Ekhoven, that it should end this way. Well, there's still Kenzie Newhoff, mind you. He could still be a part of this fight, but he needs to do he needs to make a comeback that's just as credible as the one that we've seen from Sergio Hernandez, who's right now fighting for the lead. He's outside Bram van Uyften. They're all behind John Tusting. And Van Uyften got the slipstream really from Tusting's car, but it doesn't seem to really deter Hernandez on the outside. He's going to try to drive around John Tusting as well for the lead here. 15 laps to go. And it's all kicking off for Ekhoven coming out of the pit lane yet again. So he's going to be a lap down now, and it's all just falling into the clutches of Sergio Hernandez, which is absolutely incredible.
Well, it's things, as I said, I didn't think I would see. After we saw him, I think within the first 20 laps, fall a lap down, and then he didn't recover that. He unlapped himself. We're going to have to take a while to process it all, to be honest, and obviously have a chat to him if he comes into the Discord. Hopefully he will. But at the moment, obviously, we have to focus on the race that's in front of us, and John Tusting is our most recent race leader at the moment. He's only less than 7 seconds away from Van Uyften in that atomic bomb, and if there's a bomb to be going off, then it really would shake things up yet again.
Look at that little lucky dog. That's a good boy. Sergio Hernandez's car. Gotta love that. And look at the close proximity of these cars. Mind you, they're traveling at above 300 kilometers an hour. Here is Sergio Hernandez is squeezed to the inside. I think that's Matty Sufi on the outside. Or is it Ian Roots? I don't even know by now. They all have a tendency to look alike. Those Simracersworld esports cars. That is indeed Mr. Roots is on the outside, but he is a lap down as well. He's not. Ian Roots is in 5th place. I'm sorry. That's something I hadn't seen right there. But Ian Roots very much up there as well there. Hernandez actually lost some places. That was to lead some of the cars on past as well. And it seems like some of them has some pace. John Tusting, Bram van Uyften and Kim Verheid is currently the top 3, and then indeed it's Hernandez in after that. Everyone has been in on lap 59, except for actually a few cars, but only a very few cars that was in after lap 59. Of course, we're on 66 now, so steadily, surely, but slowly we're crawling in on the final 10 laps of racing here from the SRW Dynamixx NASCAR Winter Series here. And look at that, that's Professor Cortel on the outside. He's got Sergio Hernandez on the bumper. And you have to wonder whether the two Spaniards are trying to help one another out here.
Yeah, Sergio Hernandez right in the thick of this fight. The last place he wanted to be, and he's got a contact in front of him. He's managed to avoid it, but will Cortel have it off? He goes to the inside. Cortel's looking on the outside as well.
And the yellow flags are out.
Well, yeah, the yellow flags are out, and what has happened is because of that contact stemmed another bit of contact. I can't quite see who it was. I'm sure Hasse will be able to tell us a little bit more. Might have been Bart DeVos, although it might have been. In fact, you'll have to tell us, I think.
It's Sven Calbert. Sven Calbert was the big swinger there for a moment at least, and just looking through the order to find him, there he is. Oh my word, Sven Calbert. Very unlucky indeed. Let's just see if we can get another look at it here. Oh, there it is up ahead. That's Thijs van den Berge. And he's gonna come past. Oh, he gets collected. Bart DeVos and Tim Perry both gets around. And look at that. Oh, that's Brian Harris in the number 8 as well, who I think this time around seems to have had a little bit of luck tonight. But generally, we haven't been in too much luck. There's another caution period. We're going to see just how many of the cars choose to take this as what could be their final pit stop. But having pit on lap 59 of 80, I think 21 laps isn't too much to do either on a set of tires. They will probably have the fuel if they took those amount of fuels, of course. Here is... oh, is that coming past on the outside there? It looked like Hernandez, but it wasn't there. I think it must have been the lucky dog. I was just about to say, is that Kurt van Honacker? But it is not. Was it Greg Franks? Could be Greg Franks, so he might be closing up the gap from behind. Actually, I have to say I'm a bit lost to who that was. John Tusting in the 999 machine is leading the field. Bram van Uyft in second. Then Kim Behade, Sergio Hernandez, who looks to be in a championship winning position with 12 laps to go now. But mind you, some of those laps are going to be on the yellow flag. So in the end, it's going to be less than 10 laps of green flag racing left at this point. Ian Roots in 5th. Matty Sufi, also of the Simracersworld esports team, in 6th place. Then Brian Harris, Bart DeVos, and Tim Perry. But they're all in the pits at the moment. They're going to fall down the running order. And they're going to get jumped by some of these cars. At least here is Stephen De Wolf and Greg Franks. We're going to get past.
Just realised, Hasse, as well, I think this may actually be the quickest race we've had as well. Normally, we are really pushing the envelope for the 90-minute race in terms of the laps to the time limit that's allowed. And at the moment, we're only 1 hour, 5 minutes in. We've got 11 laps to go. We're going to be 10 laps soon. And even if we stay in the caution period for the entirety of those last 11 laps, which, touch wood, God forbid we don't, we don't want that at all. We will still actually finish in record time for the rookie season here, and I think that's pretty good going. I think that shows the improvement as well that we've seen over the last 6 weeks. To say that a lot of these drivers have learned an awful lot in terms of NASCAR racing and oval racing as a whole, and we're seeing, although we are seeing 1 or 2 little scrappy caution periods being caused, we're seeing a lot less of them than we did potentially right at the start of the season. So a good testament to see how these guys have improved throughout the last 7 weeks.
Yeah, indeed. And talking about seasons, I think we can lift the veil for that. There will be a second season of SRW Dynamixx NASCAR Racing. It's not just going to be a winter series, and we're not going to have to wait until next winter for it to come back, luckily, though. It's going to be in the new year. And stay tuned to Simracersworld on the different social media. Join our Discord as well, if you like, and all links to that are on our homepage, which in turn is in the description as well. But it is going to be open for sign-ups in not too long. So if you're sitting out there thinking to yourselves, man, I want to take part in this oval racing. I want to have myself some big ones. And drink some milk if I win. Then this is going to be the series for you. And of course, all the action is going to be broadcast by me and hopefully Checo as well for the next season, which I'm hoping that you will be both able to and wanting to take part in as well, because it's been a pleasure having you along in the booth as well. But it's all going to be kicking off in the first part of the new year. And, well, keep your eyes open for more announcements on that, as we're just about to go back to boogity indeed here, with the green flag just about to be dropped, the pace car just about to peel off. And this time it's the 999 machine of John Tusting. It's going to be controlling the pace of the field. Mew says that they all want some big ones.
I think the Mew is absolutely loving that, to be fair. But yeah, no, we are back obviously for season 2, and I think we're going to have to fight to keep our places on the comms box, because quite a lot of people, especially after seeing this, will be wanting to cover the NASCAR Series. It seems to be one of the most exciting that we cover here. As the pace car dives in, let's see if we get 10 clean laps of running. Tusty has dropped the hammer already, and he is away with Kim Verhate in second place, being under pressure by Bram van Uytven in the Dynamixx Race Simulators car. Here is Sergio Hernandez as well, fourth place at the moment, provisional championship leader. All the way down here is Bart de Vos as well. And actually, to be fair, all these drivers have actually spaced themselves out just a touch. As I said that, they'll probably all make contact and push themselves back up in a minute.
Yeah, indeed. Indeed it is. Here's Kenzie Newhoff just came on through at the rear end of the field there. We're just going to have to see if he can pull anything out the back, but it's going to be very, very limited time to do it whatsoever. Here as Van Uytven has now taken the lead. He's going to have John Tusting challenging for it, and then Sergio Hernandez comes through on the outside as well. And you have to wonder if the Spaniard wants to take it now, or whether he's wanting to... Oh, I think we've had a problem here for Robert Lundgren. Oh, and there it is for the Swede, and the 48 machine takes a jump, takes a direct hit at the wall. That's not going to do his car any good, that much is for certain. But so far, still running well and good. And I think for Sergio Hernandez's part by now, he just needs to make sure he sees the checkered flag at the front end of the field. He doesn't need to win. He doesn't need to come second. He doesn't need any particular position. He needs to finish in front of Frederik van Eekhoven and Kenzie Newhoff. Kenzie Newhoff gaining positions back. He's up into 11th place at the moment. Here he is in the 62 car. We'll be keeping our eyes open for that as well. But the important bit is here as well. Look at that Checo. There are gaps starting to develop. And that might be a problem for Newhoff. Even though he makes up positions, he might still just be too far dislodged to be able to do anything here. Lap 73 of 80. And they're still bunching up here at the head. Look at that on the outside. Simracersworld Esports with the collaborational tactics there. Matty Sufi pushing along the loose. And they're going to try to see if they can make that work onto the finish line. They might just be taking the lead not too long if the other studs start doing it there. Tusting will have to start pushing on Van Uytven. And, well, you know how it is with this bump drafting in NASCAR. It's a dangerous business. You really have to make sure that the car in front is pointing straight when you give it that little bit of a bump in behind. Otherwise, it could all go wrong.
Yeah, and we've seen it go wrong a couple of times, whether the drivers were meaning to bump draft or not here tonight. But you're right, yeah, Ian Roos and Matteo Sufi were going to be hoping to maybe get one of the Simracersworld cars on the top step. Kim Verhate, you saw him dominate the Flemish Simsport cars anyway as a whole, dominate the Daytona 500 race. That we obviously were a little bit of a test to see whether the series had a little bit of traction. Obviously it did. And the Flemish Simsport cars haven't really been there as much as we were expecting after that little test at the 500. And so they'll be hoping to maybe finish this season on a high. Obviously, a brand new race winner as well would be a very popular here as Sergio Hernandez looks to the inside now, maybe decides that following those drivers probably isn't the best idea if he's just trying to get to a checkered flag cleanly and as most efficiently as possible. Yeah, it's Kenzie Newhoff in 11th place, managing to unlap himself from earlier on. But as Hasse said before, he's not really in a position to upset Sergio Hernandez right now. That's to be sure. Anyways, Sergio Hernandez is in 6th place. And obviously, as long as he finishes ahead of his two championship rivals, he is going to be the winner because obviously he started the day ahead of them. So it's not too hard, the maths to be figuring out there. Bart DeVos on the outside, the number 6 car as well as these drivers. There were gaps starting to form. Those gaps are starting to disappear.
Indeed, but you know what? I'll tell you what. We've had situations here where it's like Bart DeVos and Tim Perry as well pitted a little later. They went on lap, what says 68, which was at a last caution period, which means Bart DeVos and Tim Perry are on tires that are about 10 laps fresher than everybody else here. So if they can somehow just find the space and the time as well to take advantage of their fresher tires, they could be in a very good position for this final sprint, as Tim Perry is now right on the tail of Sergio Hernandez. And they just have to be so careful by now, and that really goes for Hernandez as well. Look at that! Oh, look at that coming around the outside! Oh, there they are! There they are! Team Down Under coming right back into it. Kenzie Newhoff with the help from teammate Frederick Van Ekholm, and that's the car behind the 477, assisting his teammate onto the back end of this bunch. And now this really gets interesting, because Sergio Hernandez is in a position right now where he could have to really make up possessions over these final couple of laps if he finds that all of a sudden the Team Down Under cars are working together, which it seems like they are. They positioned themselves neatly into a train. Look at that. Adam Wright is just letting Newhoff in past as well. Oh, this is such an exciting finish. And he is.
I can't believe it. Six rounds, 77 laps, and it all comes down to this, doesn't it? 3 laps, 2 laps to go, and we've got a push from Newhoff, who has been nowhere tonight. As Sergio Hernandez has been at the front, he's gone forward back, he's recovered, and now he actually sees a proper fight come the way from Team Down Under, as he's almost fixed into where he is. He can't really make any moves forward because he's got a wall of cars in front of him.
Yeah, but that's the same situation for everybody else, and I'll tell you what, Kenzie Newhoff is one of those drivers that were in on lap 68 as well. After that last shot, oh, that's Brian Harris! Harris gets the contact, and it's a yellow flag! It's a yellow flag!
Are we going to finish this finale this season under yellow flag conditions? Brian Harris, you right? Oh, car on his roof there. I'm not sure who that was. We'll be able to give you a quick look at it in a minute, but that was Brian Harris flying into the outside. That's the number 14 car. Oh, Anton Dupin upside down there, collecting an awful lot of cars. I think it's safe to say he is not under control of that car right now.
Not at all. Oh, they're entering the pit lane. Some of them are, at least. Of course, some of those drivers that were collected in this incident will have to come in here. Lap 79. Oh.
That's Van Ekholm unlapping himself.
Van Ekholm unlapping himself, indeed. The question is, do you remember when we had that overtime finish on one of these races where we got 1 to green, and we did get that extra final lap to go off on, but I'm not sure we're going to get it here, because I'm not sure. I'm not experienced enough as well to really know just what the rules are in these situations. So if anyone knows,
I do know actually, because it's just come up. You might not have the in-game chat on, but I actually do for some reason. And actually, the race officials, shall we say, iRacing has just come on saying the race will be extended for a green-white checkered finish. So we are going to get one flying lap right at the end here with Sergio Hernandez sat in 4th place and Kenzie Newhoff sat in 8th. So one flying lap here at Daytona to decide it all, see who comes away with the championship. Oh, it's set up perfectly. If only these two were the top 2 in the race, it couldn't be any more set up perfectly.
Oh, very much so. That was a big one indeed. Just like you wanted it. Just like you had your big chocolate bar. Mew told me about a big chocolate bar that he had for Black Friday. 800 grams of chocolate. Cadbury's, should anyone be interested in what kind of a brand. And I'm afraid it wasn't a properly big one, Robert. We've seen some big ones tonight. That wasn't one of them. Big one is like when you got, what, 5, 6 cars involved, and plus and above that, 8, 10, 15, sometimes you even see.
Genuinely thought you were still talking about chocolate, to be fair.
Oh, I don't think, I mean, new Aero, there is Aero chocolate as well. It's quite good, that chocolate they have with the air bubbles. You know, I don't know how they make it, if they just make it bubbly and then make it, yeah. I have no idea how they do it, but by the love of God, please keep on doing it. It's very good. Robert Lundgren has been all the big ones today. That's an unhealthy habit. And on the rope here, let me just say thanks to all of you for tuning in with us in what has been an absolutely thrilling finale of a race here. It's not over yet. We have this extra lap to contend with. And that means we'll go to 82 laps as well, I think. If I'm very much not mistaken. And there it is. Lights are out, and I'm gonna go over to you, Jacko, and just let you guide us through the final lap, because you know what? I don't think I have the voice for it anymore.
Yeah, I know how you feel, to be honest, but it's gonna be Bram van Uyven who's gonna come across and start the last lap of the race. One flying lap. It all comes down to, I mean, you couldn't write this, to be honest. I'm amazed that it just came about like this. Mackenzie Newhoff is probably the driver to keep an eye out on. Obviously, Sergio Hernandez as well in fourth place. They're both on the outer banking. So that's certainly, well, will that make it interesting? I'm not sure. As Hasse said before, we're not really experienced enough to know. We're just here as excited fans to shout at our monitors and bring you guys the best racing possible. And thank you everyone who's made that racing possible, as well as we're about to close on to the final lap of it. It's been awesome. You guys, I hope that everyone who's racing here will be back for the next series. I know there's maybe some red mist descending at the moment, but I'm sure everyone can agree how much of a fun series that it has been. And with any luck, everyone will practice a little bit more as well, and we'll be back with even a higher standard than we have already, because it's been absolutely cracking so far for us to watch as we're going to go across for the final time tonight in Hasse. I don't know what to expect here. I think Kenzie Newhoff is going to potentially push as hard as he can. He's got the help of a teammate around him as well, unlike the lucky dog Sergio Hernandez. It's going to make it very interesting. The boosted car just ahead of Tim Perry as well. He was in a race winning position at one point. Bram van Uyven and John Tusting, two drivers that haven't won yet this series. Obviously, we can't pass out that, and van Uyven has gone already. Tusting's been caught out slightly, and Kimber Hayes actually overtaken. But look, Sergio Hernandez has stayed with them. The 46 car of Ian Roots is potentially going to be the stopgap between those drivers ahead and the likes of Kenzie Newhoff, who will be hoping this is the final lap of the race. It's the final lap of the series, and it's the final lap of the championship here at the NASCAR Dynamixx Winter Series. How's it going to go down? Kenzie Newhoff is looking to the inside. Ian Roots gets out of the way. Kimber Hayes is potentially in the way as well. Sergio Hernandez is up to second place, and potentially he sees the championship. He's got one eye on the trophy already. Can he keep it with John Tusting in the lead of the race so far? Bram van Uyven is in between the likes of Kenzie and Sergio as they come across the line, and it's going to be all coming down to this. The final corner here. Across the line they're going to come. Sergio Hernandez is going to take... Oh, is that the white flag?
That's the white flag now. Oh, we've got one more lap. Oh, just as you think they're coming across, that happened to be one of the other races as well. Ian Roots of the outside there, Sergio, and that is almost making contact as well. Newhoff is in it as well. He's got a teammate behind. They're going to be trying to cut him up, but he's just cut off by cars and rows upon cars at the moment. He's got the fresh tires. So does Bart de Vos as well. There on the outside is Ian Roots trying to get the help from Matty Sufi, maybe just to take the win away from John Tusting as they come through the final corner. Or is it the final corner? I think it's the second to last corner. But who cares? Because the racing is that close. And it's still John Tusting. No, it is the line. And it's going to be John Tusting for the win. And it's going to be Sergio Hernandez third over the line to take the championship here from the SRW Dynamixx NASCAR Winter Series. And what a way to take it. He was a lap down. He unlapped himself under green flag conditions, only to have the pace car come out mere seconds after having taken the lead of the field. Coming back up and taking third place place in an absolutely fantastic display. What a deserved championship win there for Sergio Hernandez. There couldn't be another, really. It's been a fine challenge from the team down under cars and everyone else getting themselves up there as well. But what a race and what a championship it's been. Sergio Hernandez is our new champion.
I mean, I've got goosebumps. I've got goosebumps. An unbelievable recovery drive. It was a great race anyway. The likes of Van Ekhoven tried his best. He was in the driving seat for the majority of this race. It seemed to just all go wrong as he had to take a pit at the end of a pace car period, sorry, a caution period. Kenzie Newhoff, after being pretty much nowhere for the majority of this race, to be honest, he was around that sort of 12th to 8th place area for the majority. He managed to find some pace with the help of a few other drivers around him, namely his teammates, obviously, but it just wasn't enough. And I'm sure on the final lap, Sergio Hernandez, it was hunkered in. The space in between those cars was millimeters. Everything had to go right. I thought there was maybe a complete wreck that was going to go on, and you can see from the back of John Tussing's car just how close it was. But everybody kept it nice and clean. Everybody kept it really safe. And actually, it's a shout out to Ian Roots as well for getting on the podium for the first time in the series. He'll be absolutely delighted with that. We'll have a chat with him later on. But Sergio Hernandez doing donuts in the infield, and fully deserved as well.
Yeah, indeed. And time for the results. John Tusting picks up the first championship win for Quantum Racing Team this season by 0.5 of a second. 0.02 of a second separating Ian Root from Sergio Hernandez, second and third. Then Matty Sufi, Bram van Hoeft, and Kim Behate. Kenzie Newhoff there 7th, getting very close as well. 0.3 of a second down on the winner. Then Bart de Vos in 8th, Tim Perry, Yves Fredericks, Greg Franks, then Steven de Wolf in 12th, Lieven op de Beek in 13th, and Thijs van den Bergen, Paul Gosling, Hendrik de Grave, Steve Kleis, and Frederick van Eekhoven there in 18th place in the end. 19th is the Professor Cortel, then Adam Wright, Even Bouwmans, Kurt van Honacker, Brian Harris, Ryan D. Walker, Anthony Pan, Robert Lundgren, Sven Calvert, Jochen Lennartz, and Luke Hobson rounding off the field. And I just have to say, wow. What a race we've had here tonight. That has been absolutely incredible.
I mean, yeah, as you say, incredible realistically. I've just seen that Sergio Hernandez is trying to find out where he needs to go to actually get into the Discord to have an interview, because obviously we want to have a chat to him, where our interview room is slowly filling up, like with a couple of drivers. Brent Van Uyven is in there with Ian Roots as well, but obviously we're trying to hold off a little bit for Sergio Hernandez. But I feel like in that race, Hasse, we had pretty much an entire series worth of drama and action all rolled into an 80-lap period. And as I said, it's unusual that we have that many sort of clean green flag running, but it was incredible to see. And I think, yeah, you just brought him in, Hasse, so I'll let you take away a little bit of an interview with our race winner.
Indeed, our race winner is John Tusting. A first win for you, a first podium for yourself and for the team this season. And after quite an incredible race finish there, tell us how it feels coming out on the other side of it.
Great. Sergio sent me a PM in that last yellow flag saying he'd give me a push. And I didn't really know whether to believe him, but it turned out to be a good decision. And yeah, I'm just really pleased. I got second place in the warm-up race in the Daytona 500. So I like Daytona. It suits me. Stay out of trouble and then just race in the last 10 laps. And yeah, came off. Brilliant.
Indeed, a brilliant show. And we saw several instances of some really good teamwork with the bump drafting today. Is that anything you had been practicing with Paul Gosling ahead of this race as well?
Not specifically for this race. I wasn't actually going to do this race. I've injured my neck and I can't really look to the right. But then I figured NASCAR's always left turn, so I'll be all right. So I just turned up for this race really 20 minutes before the start. We've driven a fair bit before though, Paul and I, in endurance racing and stuff, so we know each other pretty well now.
That is good to hear, John, and congratulations on the win. I'm not gonna keep you in here for too long. I'll let you get out and get a pup of the champagne there. But before we leave you off the hook, John, is there anyone you'd like to give a thanks or a shout out to?
Just all the guys at Quantum. We do all kinds of racing, quite a bit on Simracersworld. and we all help each other out. Ben does some fantastic liveries for us. And the guys at Simracersworld who organised this series and all the others that we've competed in this year, it's without them we wouldn't have anywhere to race. So yeah, just thanks to anyone who's taken part as well, and congratulations on the championship, Sergio.
Well, indeed, and I hope that he'll be able to join us as well. Sergio, I've left a link to our Discord channel in the chat, so you can join through that and hop into the interview waiting room if you're still watching along there.
He has, actually.
He has. Oh, that went quickly. Beautiful indeed. John, thanks for joining us. Congratulations on a brilliant win here from Daytona. Another good Daytona race for you indeed. And I hope to see you on the grid for the next season of NASCAR Action here.
Yeah, I think so. And thanks to the commentary guys as well for this, and again all those other series that we get involved with, because it really makes something special when you've got people sort of shouting your name and you watch the broadcast back. It's just brilliant.
Well, of course, that's heartwarming for us indeed to hear, John. We appreciate it, and thanks a lot. With that, I am gonna throw in our well, it's actually gonna be a bit of a double whammy of an interview here, as John Tusting, our race winner, is kindly shoved out of its way here. But it's going to be a double whammy. We have, on one side, second place finisher for tonight, Ian Roots. But we also have SRW bossman, Ian Roots. And Ian, welcome to the booth for an interview again. It's always a pleasure having you along in the booth here post-race. Second place, mate. Podium finish. What a race. What a finale. That was brilliant.
It was brilliant. It was. Do you mind kind of cutting me short and bringing Sergio in, and then bringing me and Bram in together at the end? Sergio's the champion. I'm just the organizer. Let's get Sergio in, and I'll come back in a second. Is that okay with you guys?
Sergio's in. Ian, you're going out. Bye. Sergio, welcome to third place today. That was enough to take the championship, and what a way to take it. And I think I can talk on behalf of us in the booth and on everybody basically watching along as well, that seeing you a lap down so early in the race, I don't think a lot of people really believed that you would be able to come back and take the points needed for securing the championship. Did you believe so yourself at that point?
Hello. First of all, sorry if my English is not quite good, but well, the race was very difficult from the start. I tried to race with my friend Palo Cortel to go up, and that's what we did. And we have the problems with accidents. I went down to one lap down, and well, the objective was to go up and try to maintain the lucky dog for when the yellow flag came out. And finally, we went to the lead lap again. And well, Daytona, it's not a normal track where you have to practice, you have to manage tires. No, it's a lottery for me. And you have to be waiting for what happened, what the other drivers do, what line you pick. And well, we arrived to the final yellow caution. I had John Tustin in front of me, and I sent him a private message saying, if you let me push you, if you don't leave me on the outside line, you will win. And that's what I did, and I think he's happy for that.
Yeah, indeed. I'm just gonna go back to that situation, those few seconds where you managed to put yourself affront the lead car. You managed to unlap yourself, and then 10-15 seconds after, there's a huge incident in behind. Yellow flags come out. You're just on the lead lap and able to close up there again. What kind of thoughts went through your mind in those very seconds?
Well, that was perfect, because doing that, I was in the lead lap, and in case I wasn't in the lead, I has been the lucky dog. But the problem when you are lucky dog is that you are going to start in the next restart in the back of the grid. So being on the lead lap, being the lead, helped me to don't have to go up, don't have to pass a lot of drivers that were in other laps. So, well, that's what good. I try to go up as good as more as I can, and well, I think it gone very well.
It went very well indeed, Sergio. Fantastic job on the racing. Fantastic job on everything this season. You've been brilliant to watch. It's been an absolute pleasure watching you race, and such a deserved championship, I have to say as well, from both me and Jacko here in the booth. And brilliant job on the interview as well. You could easily do that every week. Anyways, Sergio, without much further ado, I'm gonna say congratulations on being the first SRW Dynamixx NASCAR Winter Series championship and the champion himself. And before we let you get on with the celebrations, is there anyone you'd like to give a thank or a shout out to while you're on the air here?
Yeah, first of all, I want to say thanks for all organization, to Simracersworld. It was a pleasure to race here. I will try, if I can, to race the next edition. So it will be a pleasure to continue racing with you. And of course, my friend Pablo Cortel, it's always a pleasure to race with him. It's a very friend of mine, so, you know. And finally, my team, Lucky Dog team. This edition, I didn't have any of them of the team here, but I hope in the next championship I have more. I bring here more Lucky Dogs cars to the field.
Incredible stuff. And we hope to see you again, and we hope to see more Lucky Dogs as well, besides you fighting it out for the championship. It's been a pleasure. Again, congratulations, Sergio, and enjoy this wonderful Monday evening.
Thank you very much, and same for you.
So indeed, that was our series champion, Sergio Hernandez. And with that, I'm going to bring in a cluster of drivers. This is second place finisher Ian Roots, who kindly didn't consider his own second place that important. And Ian, you know, it was more for the second place that I brought you in before. You know, we always take the organizer and the boss last, but the second place finish comes in second. But anyways, we've got Bram van Hoeften, who is organizing alongside Ian. And then we have Matty Sufi waiting. Did you see he got pulled out again? But I wanted to bring in the Simracersworld esports drivers together as well. But Bram, Ian, conclusions to this final round of the series. I've almost lost my voice because it's been such amazing action today. What absolute brilliant racing it's been, and also just with some other points in terms of cleanliness, if you will. Almost no caution periods compared to some of the other rounds. At least it was fantastic to see tonight.
Yeah, it was a great race. By delaying it a week, we actually made it worse. We thought we'd avoid week 13, but there were some NASCAR updates with aero packages and God knows what else, and everybody had to get used to that while we were racing, to be fair, and it made it very difficult. But it was a fantastic race. I was involved a couple of times, used both of the fast repairs, but managed to work the way back through the front, and I'd got my rear guide action in Matthew, and yeah, we worked together. We're in Discord together, obviously, and we were working together, pushing for the gaps and push, and we just didn't quite have the run at the end. But to finish the season in second for me is as good as a win. It was a fantastic race. Really enjoyed it.
And how do you see the development of the drivers of the field, of the skill set, and drivers getting used to oval racing and such over the course of only 6 rounds? Because for me, I think we've seen quite a development and quite an improvement as well into just how used the drivers were getting to the oval racing here.
Yeah, I think you're right. There has been a massive leap forward in the way the drivers are behaving on track. You've seen that as the season's progressed, and I'm sure Bram will agree. It's been a rookie season, and it will continue to be a rookie season next season as well. And everybody's learning. We're learning, how to drive. We're learning how to race. A few people here had never done ovals before at all, literally, apart from the unofficial races on the servers. But no, it's been a massive progression, a massive leap forward, and I'm guessing you guys have seen that too.
Yeah, very much so. We've seen it firsthand, man. It's been fantastic to see, and yeah, the action tonight was just incredible. Such good racing indeed, and I think we've been glad just to be a part of it. And at least I can speak on my own part there. I think I can speak for Jacko as well.
Absolutely, yeah. No, I said it quite openly at the beginning of the season that I was, never been a fan of oval racing or NASCAR. I never really followed it. For some reason, Ian, you gave me the job. Thank you very much, because it's been amazing. I'm a complete convert. And with any luck, as I said, we can carry on. We did drop the ball a little bit and drop the bomb that there is a season 2 coming. So we said that a little bit earlier. But with any luck, we can carry on the awesome broadcast, and you guys can carry on the awesome racing.
Yeah, definitely. I'll leave it to Bram. Obviously, Bram's got a little bit of news. He wants me to do it all, but obviously the driving force behind all of this has been Bram from day one. I've always wanted to do it, but never had the guts to go out and say, right, guys, this is what we're doing. And by doing the Dynamixx Daytona 500, I think it ignited some passion in quite a few of the community members, and Bram has taken that to the Benelux area like they do, and it's kind of exploded out there as well. And I'll hand it over to Bram. Without Bram, this wouldn't have been possible, and he's done a great job in setting up the servers and organising everybody in the Discord, and it's working very well. But Bram has got the news. I'll let him tell you a little bit, and then I'll give you the main chunk myself.
Thank you, Ian, for supporting me for this crazy idea. Thank you all the drivers for the progress they made in the only 6 races we drove. I want a special thanks to Sven Kalbrecht for all the setups he delivered, and Jochen for sponsoring the series, and you guys for amazing broadcasts. It's nice to watch them back. The next season will involve 10 rounds, but we will include 2 drop rounds, so if somebody has a bit of bad luck, they can still fight for the championship.
Yeah, as Bram said, it's going into a 10 race series, so it's a slight step up. Some new tracks coming, not too many, because we want to keep the cost down for everybody, because I understand a lot of people don't drive NASCAR all the time, so we're going to do some day races and some night races as well, which would be great on the broadcasts. So yes, just same format really, to be honest. Some great racing, same 90-minute races, and it's more of the same really, to be honest, just on a longer format with the drop round, so it's fair for everybody. So yeah, pushing on season 2, it's big news.
And just a last bit of details for all our viewers out there, Ian. When are we going to be able to expect season 2 on the horizon?
Sooner than you think. Registration will be opening either tomorrow or the day after. It's ready to go. The rule book is 99% complete. There's a few extras in there from this season. And race 1 is going to be on Monday the 11th of January, so less than a month today, in fact. So so it's very, very soon indeed. So yeah, we're looking forward to that. There's going to be no racing in week 13, and sadly for you guys, there will be another round in week 13, but it won't be broadcast. Some of the guys have been asking for a non-championship road race, so we're going to be visiting Watkins Glen, and sadly it won't be broadcast, but it's a test event really to see if we can really mix it up in season 3.
I think that makes perfect sense, Ian. Brilliant having you in for the always interview, I was about to call it, because you seem to have a habit of dropping in for a bit of a talk, so we can listen to your wonderful voice and get a smile upon our faces. Ian, Bram, both of you, thanks for coming in to the booth for a bit of a chat about future plans after a very, very nice first opening rookie season here. And is there anyone either of you would like to thank or shout out while you're here?
Well, other than obviously Bram, I've mentioned Jochen at Dynamixx for sponsoring the series. The main shout out tonight is for you two. You two doing an outstanding job. We're coming up to the Christmas season, and without you guys, none of this would be possible for anybody to watch back. So yeah, just you two. Thank you very much for all the work you do.
Oh, I'm blushing, Hasse. What about you?
Yeah, the same here. I'm lost for words as well. It's big words from the big man himself. So Thanks, Ian. We appreciate it, and pleasure is all ours.
Thank you very much, guys. Take care.
Take care, guys. So with that, that's going to be the conclusion of tonight's broadcast. Do leave us a like if you like what you've seen here tonight on Simracersworld TV, and do subscribe for more great iRacing action. Be that oval or road by now. We can say in the new year, opening parts of it, we will very much be back for more oval racing here with the SRW Dynamixx NASCAR Series. And with that said, from Hasse Rømer and Jack Oliphant in the booth, it has been an absolute pleasure having you all along for this series. And until next time, come early January, have a Merry Christmas, have a safe New Year, and take care, have fun, and so long.